All right, so we're going to be looking at linear word problems. Remember, this is the week 9 video 3. Remember, we had that correction from the first week of school, or not the first week, sorry, from Monday. So if we look at number 1, it says write the slope-intercept form using this table. So remember, we can find m. We label our points, x1, y1, x2, y2. Our slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we substitute in negative 6 minus negative 4 over 12 minus 6. What does that equal? We put it into the calculator just like it's written. We use that button between the 9 and the little book. Options, hit the fraction, negative 6 minus negative 4 on top, 12 minus 6. I get that my slope, the simplified, is negative 1/3. So that means that my m is negative 1/3. To get my form, it wants slope-intercept, which is y equals mx plus b. I can use the point slope formula. Remember, that's y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Here is I've already labeled ones, x1, y1, and I already have my m. So we're going to substitute those in. Y minus y1, which is negative 4, is equal to negative 1/3 times x minus x1, which is 6. All right. Your first step is to distribute the negative 1/3. Negative 1/3 times x is negative 1/3 x. Negative 1/3 times a negative 6. Plug it into your calculator. Negative 1/3 arrow over times negative 6 is 2. It was a positive 2, so we'll say plus 2 on the right. Remember, minus a negative, this becomes y plus 4. To move the 4, you have to subtract 4 from both sides. We're getting into the y-intercept. These cancel out, so y is equal to negative 1/3 x. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. So now I have my equation. Y equals negative 1/3 x minus 2. Remember, your b you can get from the slope-intercept form. So in this case, it's a minus 2. That makes it a negative 2. Okay? You can also feed that down into the y-intercept. Remember, your y-intercept is a 0, y. So in this case, it's going to be 0, negative 2. For your x-intercept, remember that's when x is a number and y is 0. Well, where can we find that? Well, if we get your calculator back out, you go home, new document, you want to save? No, go to add graphs. Graph your line. So negative 1/3 x minus 2. If you graph it, that's all great. You see your line, okay. You can either read from the line where it crosses, so it's at negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 6, or control T. If you control T, you pull up the table. Here's your x's. The f of x is your y's. When x is 0, y is negative 2. Oh, sorry, that's not what we're looking for. When we want to look for when y is 0. When y is 0, x is negative 6. So my point is negative 6, 0. That's for the first one. Looking at example 2. So we have to do the same thing, only now they gave us 2 points. A linear function passes through the points 5, negative 8, negative 3, negative 8. Write the slope-intercept form. What is the slope of this function? X-intercept, y-intercept. So let's start with finding the slope. So label your points, x1, y1, x2, y2. Remember, your formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So substitute it in. Negative 8 minus negative 8 over negative 3 minus 5. Put that into the calculator as a fraction. So negative 8 minus negative 8 on top, negative 3 minus 5 gives you 0. So your slope of the function is 0. So remember, 0 is a special case. All right, when we have 0, you need to remember the Hoy Vux. It's also on the board in the left-hand corner on my board. H is for horizontal lines that have 0 slope, so they are y equals a number for your equation. Vertical lines have undefined slope, and their x equals a number. So right now, when our slope is 0, we're looking at a horizontal line. Right? When it's a horizontal line, your equation is y equals a number. So if you go back to your 2 points, if it's y equals a number, we're looking at our y values. Well, if we'd known, we could have recognized right off the bat, our y's are the same. When your y's are the same, that's what y equals. It's going to be y equals negative 8. So in this case, your y-intercept is also going to be 0, negative 8. Now let's go ahead and graph it just so we can see the picture of it. So if you go to add graphs, you're just going to type in negative 8 and enter. We might have to make the screen bigger. Menu, view. We'll zoom out. Make the center of your graph the center. There's y equals negative 8, right down there. Y equals negative 8 is a horizontal line, okay? Does it, now we're looking for x-intercept, does it ever cross your x-axis? In this case, no. So we're going to say in A for your x-intercept. Because remember, your x-intercept is x0, y-intercept is 0, comma, y. And in this case, because our y is always a negative 8, it will never cross your x-axis. So now looking at the bottom ones, we're going to start getting into a few word problems. All right, so let's read it. The last example. The cost of a new home in Bernard County was $97,000. And I want to fix this. Instead of 6, I want it to be 8. I'm just telling you that, okay? So that's the new question. The cost of a new home in Bernard County was $97,000. After 8 years, the cost for the same home was $109,000. So the first question is, which equation represents the linear model of the cost of the home? Which statement best represents the meaning of the slope of this situation? Which ordered pair represents the y-intercept of this linear function? So, yes, it's a word problem, but it's the same thing we've been doing. It's made up of points. So in Bernard County, that was the first year. So our point would be 0, 97,000. This is the first time. And I know I'm saying first, but it's at time 0. Okay, time 0. After 8 years, the cost was $109,000. So our point would be 8, $109,000. So now we have points, all right? We have x1, y1, we have x2, y2, which to find slope, to find equation, to find y-intercept, we only need 2 points. So if we look, let's start by finding our slope, because our first one wants the equation, so to do that we need our slope. So remember, your formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So my y2 is $109,000 minus my y1, which is $97,000, over x2, x2, which is 8, minus x1, which is 0. So let's put that into the calculator. As a fraction, we have 109,000 minus 97 over 8 minus 0. Hit enter. My slope is a positive 1,500. All right? My slope is a positive 1,500. Now, we lucked out. We got the y-intercept. So remember, the y-intercept, the y value is your b. B is equal to $97,000. My m is equal to 1,500. So now that I have those two values, I don't have to do the point slope formula, okay? As long as you can recognize that this is your y-intercept. So my equation is going to be y equals m, which is 1,500, x plus b, which is $97,000. So looking, this one does not have a b. 1,500 plus 97, this looks like this is our answer. This one is just to trick you. Yes, it's 1,500 next to a letter plus the 97,000, but the letters are switched. So it won't be that one. And then this one, they put your slope as the b, and the b is the slope, so it won't be that one. So our answer is b. All right. And then the second question. Which statement best represents the meaning of the slope in this situation? So remember, your slope was 1,500. Was it a positive or negative? It's positive. The value of a home decreases, so this one says decreases. Decreases implies that they're saying it's a negative. Well, ours isn't a negative, it's a positive. The value of a home increased by $97,000 per year. Well, that's not true. That's what it started out as. That's not what it's increasing by every year. The value of the home increases by $1,500 every year. That is the slope, but let's read the last one. The value of a home decreases by 97. Nope. My answer has to be H. Looking at the last one, which ordered pair represents the y-intercept of this linear function? Well, like we said before, remember, this is your point for the y-intercept. X is 0. Sorry, the y-intercept. X is 0, and then there is a y value, so it's going to be A.